on the way home, I spoke with the mother, and the mother tells me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "We are from Israel." And she was like, "Oh my God, do you have a gun at home?" And I said, "Excuse me?" "No, because, you kill people. You have guns at home." I said, "No."
Welcome to What Came After. I'm your host, Manya Marcus. On What Came After, we'll take a look at the many ways that people's lives changed on and after the brutal massacre in Israel on October 7th, 2023. We'll be speaking with people in Israel and around the world about how the devastating attack by Hamas has shifted, shaped, and changed them. To learn more about our podcast, please visit us at whatcameafter.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. I would love it if you could introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and how you got to Israel.
Thank you for having me. I'm Roxana. I'm 42. I'm originally from Romania, Bucharest. I made Aliyah in 2003. I'm a mother of two. We just came back to Israel after being in Madrid, Spain for 1 year and a half. And we came back due to the consequences of the ongoing war with Gaza that Israel.
So you mean that you came back due to the consequences in Spain?
Yeah, I think the consequences that the war has beyond the borders of Israel. It's not the immediate consequences. It's not the bombing and people dying. And it's like the consequences that this war has on Israelis, at least in Spain, from my experience. You see that blink of an eye. You see that they don't agree with your identity. It's the unseen consequences of the war, I like to call that.
And that's really the reason that I connected with you. I'm interested in these unseen consequences, especially the ones that do occur outside the border. Would you mind sharing what you posted on Facebook? We are in a shared Facebook group, and maybe you could share a little bit about how we got connected and what you were saying in that post.
Yeah, someone asked, I think it was when Iran was supposedly going to bomb Israel after Israel assassinated, killed someone. I don't remember exactly who. And there was this lady asking if anybody is leaving the country and what's going on and would you do it?
Meaning, would you
And
leave Israel for safety purposes?
yeah, exactly. I just had to answer her because, there are things abroad that if you don't live there, you don't experience them firsthand and you don't think about it. I felt the urge to answer that lady and to tell her, listen, it might be safe, but it's totally unsafe on another level. I had to share about my daughter. My daughter is 8 and she's in school. She was in school in Madrid. And what happened is that after the 7th of October, my daughter got treated worse and worse and worse. And towards the end of the school year, she had no friends. She wasn't invited to any more birthday parties. It was heartbreaking because she would come home and tell me, Mommy, why didn't I go to Emma's birthday party? And I would tell her, I didn't know Emma had a birthday party. No, it took me a while to understand the situation, unfortunately. After the 7th of October, like 2 weeks after it, parents were reaching out and asking me, how are you doing? How's your families in Israel doing? How are you coping? Can we help you somewhere? And then the situation in Israel and Gaza escalated, and there started to be huge demonstrations in the center of Madrid. And we started to see the approach of the parents towards us, the parents that used to ask us, how is going on? They weren't saying hello. I would say hello and they would just turn their heads to the other side. It was tough. It was tough because my daughter, as I told that lady in that post, she was born here. She's Israeli. Even if I'm Romanian, my husband is Argentinian. We are old enough and we know how to not show our identity as Israelis because we speak different languages, we have different passports. My daughter is 8. I don't see how can I teach my daughter or why should I teach my daughter listen, you should not identify as Israeli because of the situation. It's just, I can't do that to her. After a lot of consideration, we chose to come back to Israel. So many things happened to us. I have another story if you're interested. Something that happened with my son. He was 6 months old. He was born in Madrid. And I took him to have him checked, like the shots that need to be taken at 6 months. And she checked there and she sees that his penis is circumcised. And she is asking me, why is his penis circumcised? And I'm telling her, because we are Jews. The reaction I got from that lady was, I told my husband, listen, I don't trust entering my 9 months old. He was supposed to be 9 months old to enter daycare. I don't trust them. I got a reaction. It's like she just immediately took her hands off, went to the computer. I don't know what she wrote. And she told me, yeah, you should go. You need to reschedule in another 6 months or so for another checkup. And that's only because she asked me, why is your son circumcised? It's his penis okay? And that was my boiling point. I said, that's it. I will not have my children suffer because of their identity. I'm sorry. It's like my son, my 6 months old son, he will enter daycare. They will need to change him and they will see. It's not something that you can hide it away. They will see. Somebody will understand eventually. And he's 6 months old. He cannot speak. My daughter can speak. My daughter can come to me and tell me, listen, mommy, they're not treating me right. I don't know, whatever. She can speak. She understands. Even though she didn't understand Spanish so well, she understands what's going on. But having my 6 months old in daycare and God knows what they're doing or neglecting him or, I cannot know what's happening there. And I told my husband, listen, I'm going back to Israel. I don't know about you, but I had it.
So, this story about somebody paying attention to circumcision as a sign of difference and a sign of Judaism reminds me of stories that I've heard from friends of mine who immigrated from Russia, and how in changing rooms, somebody would see that and suddenly the identity was very clear. Coming from Romania, what are your early experiences, if you have any, of anti Semitism?
It was hard for my mother to take me out for Yom Kippur from school because she always had to explain why. But besides that, I remember people actually embracing it and being totally okay with it. Religion classes were mandatory in Romania, and my mother said no, she doesn't need that, and it was really hard because I needed to get a grade in religion class, which is ridiculous. My mother fought the system, but I still had to be in religion classes. I wouldn't call that anti-Semitism. I would call that a flaw in the system. But again, it's the system. It was so new. It was just after 1989. They didn't know how to deal with this stuff back then. But I don't remember experiencing any anti-Semitism in Romania.
So, the experience that you had in Madrid was very new and foreign for you.
Very new, very foreign. We lived in a building where we had a lot of people from everywhere in the world. It was only rentals and people from all over the world. And one day I took Romy, my daughter, from school and came back home. And Romy said, listen, mommy, this girl lives in our building. She was new. I said, okay, well, why don't we talk with her and go home with her? And there was this couple from India. And the little girl was really nice. Romy played with her. And on the way home, I spoke with the mother. And the mother tells me, where are you from? And I said, we are from Israel. And she was like, oh my God, do you have a gun at home? And I said, excuse me? No, because, you kill people. You have guns at home. I said, no. Yeah, it was really ridiculous. And I asked her, would you like your daughter to come? Maybe we have a play date in Madrid. It's cold and winter and it's not Israel. And she said, no, I don't know. You can come and have coffee with me while our daughters play and you can check the entire house. You will see I don't have a gun. And, she really believed it. That's preposterous because she really believed it that all Israelis have guns in their homes because they kill people. She told me that she was from the southern part of India. Her husband was in animation for a very big company. And she told me, this is the general belief. It's like, we totally believe that you Israelis have guns at home and you kill people.
We make this decision to do the podcast only with audio and not with video. And sometimes I feel really compelled to tell people what it looks like here. You and I are sitting outside. We're outside a cafe. There might be some background noise, and my jaw just keep making weird facial expressions because I've been doing this podcast for a couple months, and some of this is very surprising to me. One question that I have in terms of the reaction that you got just for telling people that you were Israeli, before they said things like that, did they engage you in political discussion, or was this simply saying I'm Israeli and that was it?
No, I almost never got engaged in any political discussion. Most of people have like general belief and they stick to it. It's like, this is what we know. We didn't dig it up. And this is what I know about Israel, and this is what I believe. I will share with you another story. We had really good friends, a Brazilian couple that used to live in Canada for a few years, and they moved to Madrid. Our daughters were really good friends, and he was really into the news because he was, I don't know, with the stock exchange, and he was very aware of everything that was happening in Israel because of the nature of his work. And I remember the night of the attack of the Iranians. It was like 3 in the morning there when the missiles finally hit the Israeli skies. And I remember the next day we saw them and he said, wow, what a great job. You did so good. Your country is the best country in the world. And you should have seen my husband that used to be in the IDF. He was so proud to finally get something positive, to get a positive comment. It doesn't matter from who, but, something really small and positive. But political, no, trying to get into a political, I wouldn't call it debate, small talk. They are afraid because they don't know the facts. Nobody understands this part of the world. The moment that we say, listen, we are providing, Israel is providing Gaza with water, with electricity, medical supplies. We want peace. We want you to live with us by our side and not be against us. I don't know. They just don't understand it. Don't understand why Israel is doing this. They can't get their heads around it. I think it's too complicated.
It sounds like there's this complicating factor of your experience there where the Israeli community there was kind of insular and not as welcoming as you would have hoped. Is that accurate?
Yeah. If you want, I can give you an example. But it was
Sure.
We were there for Rosh Hashanah a year ago. We went there and there will be all kind of festivities for children and games, and children will get presents.
I want to pause for a second and say that last Rosh Hashanah was a few weeks before October 7th, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a few weeks. And just so you get an idea, every event for Israeli community outside, you will know where it is only a few hours before. They will send you the location only a few hours before.
For security purposes?
Yeah. Only after you enter all of your data, after you pay a small fee, after they check you out a bit, and only after that you will get the location. So we have this feeling of sort of security. And coming back to my main idea, there will be presents for children and events and festivities and all the Rosh Hashanah stuff that usually Israelis do. And it was, my daughter that was there for 3 months, and she was so eager to speak Hebrew with some children and know some children and get acquainted. And we went with high hopes and we got really, really disappointed because the activities for children were like only children that already knew each other. They engaged in the activities, and the presents were only for those children. At some point, children were going around with present, and my daughter asking me, why did they get a present? Why I don't get a present? And I had no idea what to answer her. But Israelis are Israelis with their flaws everywhere. We don't leave all of our flaws here. We take them with us.
So, when you talk about flaws of Israelis, what are you referring to for those of us who don't live here?
They're loud.
Yes, I've noticed.
Yeah, they're loud. They're totally unpolite. It's like, I remember my husband always telling me, be more polite to the waitress. Or, I'm very used to the Israeli lifestyle. I found out there that I identify as Israeli more than I identify as a Romanian. I lived my whole adult life here. Although I grew up in Romania, my whole adult life I lived here. And I think during this 1 year and a half, also my husband, we understood that we are Israelis. Even though we were not born here, we are Israelis. And flaws, it's like we talk loud, we're unpolite, we demand things. We demand them now.
So funny because not far from here, a couple years ago, I was ordering a burger and I didn't push my way to the front of the line, and I just stood there and stood there and stood there. And somebody finally said, "What are you doing? Do you want some food?" I said, "I'm waiting." And he literally said to me, "This isn't Europe. This is the Middle East." And since then, I've had a bit of a better understanding.
Yeah, yeah.
It sounds like this experience in Madrid was disappointing or difficult from the beginning. And it sounds like after October 7th, it became
Yeah.
the boiling point that you're talking about. What brought you to Madrid in the first place?
Well, my husband gained Spanish citizenship because his family was, how is it called in English? I don't remember the name. It was Gilshay Sfard.
Exiled from Spain in the Inquisition. Okay.
Exactly. And he was able to gain Spanish citizenship. And we said, okay, let's go and try. The situation in Israel was getting a bit difficult with all the laws and everything that
The
went going.
protests about the
Yeah,
judicial
yeah.
reform. Yeah.
And we said, let's give it a try. God knows, maybe it will be better for our children, and maybe not. Never have I dreamt to come back this way. I remember the 7th of October. It was Yom Shabbat, obviously. And I remember waking up really late, and I was 8 months pregnant, and looking at my phone, and I see a lot of messages. And everybody at my work, I continued working for an Israeli firm. Everybody is sending a message. I said, am I so stupid? It's like, is it already a Monday? Why did I wake up? I was so confused. I didn't understand why I had this. Everybody in my work were like, where are you? What's going on? Did you see the news? Did you see? It was like the day everything changed. And I remember turning on the news and seeing what's happening. And, my daughter sees my face and she understands something is wrong. When I understood what's going on, I intentionally put my headphones on because I didn't want her to hear. It was in Hebrew. And she saw my face and she was like, well, this is so emotional because I remember her, Mommy, are you okay? What's going on? Because right now I want to cry as well. It was devastating. It was like these people, nobody's coming for them. And I remember telling her, listen, something really bad is happening in Israel, but everybody we know it's safe because they are far away. Everybody in our family lives in the central area. They're very far away from that, from where this is happening. When I will know more, I will tell you more. But It was devastating, devastating. And I remember a few days after, I blamed it on pregnancy, but later it occurred to me that it was not the pregnancy. It was just like I was so down. I couldn't get up from bed. I was like, my husband has friends that are held in Gaza. God knows if they're alive or not. Has friends that have been killed. Has friends that are survivors, and it was devastating. It was so tough, and remembering I remembered my daughter's face looking at me and understanding something is going on with me.
How much have you told her at this point?
I chose not to keep anything from her. My sister-in-law is a social worker, so I spoke to her firstly and asked her, how can I translate this to my 8-year-old daughter in her own language, that she understands something and that she doesn't get scared of it. And she knows pretty much everything. She knows about the hostages. She knows about the sirens. She knows about the bombing. She knows about the situation right now. But no, we sort of translated into kid language with the help of my sister-in-law. And but I don't keep it from her. I think that she needs to know this is what's happening. I wouldn't want her 10 years from now to ask me, Mom, why didn't you tell me? It's like, oh, why did you hide it from me, or did you hide it?
I also think that if she's going to be living here now, there are posters everywhere. Your husband has connections. Certainly some of her classmates will as well.
There were posters in Madrid as well after the 7th of October. I remember going out with my daughter and seeing everywhere like kidnap, 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 everywhere for like 1 week. And then just people just put an X on it or ripped it off or painted on the posters. I think it was all over Europe that the kidnap face, the posters of the kidnap.
It was in the United States as well. First of all, I want to say to people when this interview is happening right now, can you describe the security situation?
Well, the IDF has finally decided to take care of the northern situation with Lebanon, and they started bombing and sending missiles. And in the north of the country, the situation is pretty bad. And we are waiting, like we always do here in Israel, to see what the other side is going to do. And that's the frustrating part, in my opinion, that we are waiting to see what's going to happen. But it is what it is.
You said earlier that you would not leave Israel again. Do you still feel like that? We're
Yeah.
sitting here, you have your
Yeah.
phone out because you're concerned something might happen with your children. You still feel that way?
Yeah. 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 I remember my husband asked me yesterday. He's working in Jerusalem today and yesterday and the day before. He was working there. And I remember he asked me, "Are you afraid?" I said, "No, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I chose not to go to the office today because I want to be close to my children physically, because the only thing I'm afraid is I will not be able to get to them if, I don't know, if they bomb there. My office is in Or Yehuda, which is like an hour away from here. And no, this is my only concern, that I will not be able to physically get to them because of infrastructure or logistics or whatever. But no, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid.
A lot of people felt that October 7th was, I don't think I think everybody felt that it was a huge failure, right? Of the security apparatus of the state. Do you feel safe now? Not 100% safe, but that the country has what it needs to protect you?
I don't know if the country has what it needs to protect me, but I know that if anything happens to me or to my children here, I know that people next to me will help me. I know it's on a community level. It's the sense of being with your own kind. It's a very strong feeling. It's something that I didn't have in Madrid, and I have it here. And this is one of the main reasons I wanted to come back. Failure, yes. What can we do about it? We, you know, we need to find solutions. We don't need to find who was in charge of it or what happened. We need to find solutions so this doesn't happen again. But I have this strong sense of community here. I know that if, God forbid, my apartment will get hit, I know I have where to go. I know that people will open their hearts, their houses, their pockets, and will help me. People like you or people I don't even know, because this is what happened after October 7th here. It's like we help each other. We really do. And unfortunately, I didn't experience this in Madrid at all. And it's a huge, being a part of the community is something that is, how do you say, unique, mandatory? I think it's something that we really need to have in our lives, having a sense that
Have each other's backs.
we really need that in our lives. I think we don't really understand it until we don't have it. It's like, even if it's family, friends, even if it's Tel Aviv or this little country of Israel. I don't think on a macro. I like to think on a micro, which is my family and my friends and the life we have here, which we have the war going on, but we are at home.
I want to thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Wow,
for
I
joining
feel
me.
like I spoke too much.
Oh, this was really, really helpful. And I appreciate that some of it is hard to talk about.
Remembering the feeling I had on the 7th of October, it's hard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe to What Came After wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us online at whatcameafter.com.
We sat on the grass on a beautiful day. Don't need any mask, it's a beautiful day. A straw summer hat, it's a beautiful day. The birds in the sky, it's a beautiful day. It's just you and I, it's a beautiful day. Let's keep it alive, it's a beautiful day. We wander the land both near and far. We glow in the night with a million stars. Come follow the light to where we are. Release the bounds of our sorrow. We held our dreams for tomorrow. Safe in the wings of a beautiful day. And I love this feeling and I wanna keep on feeling it. I love this feeling and I wanna keep on feeling it. I love this feeling and I wanna keep on feeling it. May we keep on feeling it, yeah. May we keep on living it, yeah. Glow in the night with a million stars. A king in disguise, healing every scar. The birds in the sky, it's just you and I. Let's keep it alive, it's a beautiful day. Yeah, and I love this feeling and I wanna keep on feeling it. I love this feeling and I wanna keep on feeling it. On feeling it, yeah. May we keep